Welcome to Flamp Flamp Sports. My name is Richard Harris. And let's talk sports. No sound effects, no applause. Just me being me. Tonight, I'm speechless on a couple of fronts. I'm speechless because I'm watching a very good basketball game between Oklahoma City and Golden State. The game is going exactly as I said it would the other day, that it would be a high-scoring game between two high-scoring offenses. But that's not what this blog is about. I just listened to Eric Davis, former 49er, former defensive back for the 49ers. His team owner, president, Eddie DeBartolo, got inducted into the Football Hall of Fame. And today was the day of the announcements for the Football Hall of Fame. And bottom line, in my opinion, the players that they chose to get in were deserving, but they kept out the most outspoken player of that generation, who should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. And every year I go on this rant about the Hall of Fames because I keep saying it's not the Hall of Very Good. It's about the greatest players to play their positions, the greatest players to play their sports during their time period. When Lawrence Taylor was eligible for the Hall of Fame, Lawrence Taylor, who revolutionized football, got 80% of the vote. Barely made it in to the Hall of Fame because Lawrence Taylor was going through some situations. He wasn't a great citizen. He was dealing with a situation where some young 16-year-old said that he in her had, it was a rape situation. And so basically, the Hall of Famers, voters did not give him his due because of that and other issues he's had off the field. And everyone keeps talking about the Hall of Fame has a morals clause and how they're supposed to look at players on and off the field and their contributions to the game and whether or not they've hurt the game and helped the game and blah, 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 the game. And from that day forward, I've always been an outspoken person with the Hall of Fame votes because I feel that it continues to prove that media is a joke and that media has ruined sports. Not the players, not the owners of teams. It's the media has ruined sports. And the reason why I say they ruin sports is that the pen is mightier than the sword. And I know a lot of these guys don't care. The NFL Hall of Fame has become a joke because basically they punish guys for their off-field situations. They punish guys instead of just doing the right thing all the time. Michael Irvin didn't get into his third attempt. Chris Carter didn't get into his third attempt. Marvin Harrison, who got in today finally, didn't get into his fourth attempt. I mean, the reality is these guys were all first ballot Hall of Fame talent and should have gotten in. And instead of getting in on the first ballot, Mike Piazza in baseball should have gotten on the first ballot. These writers decide that they don't want to award because they think being on the first ballot is an honor. So the only person that got tonight on the first ballot, of course, was Brett Favre. Tony Dungy, is he a Hall of Fame coach? No. Tony Dungy ran two organizations, Tampa Bay and the Colts. When he left Tampa Bay, the next year they won the Super Bowl. When he was with the Colts, he did very well at the Colts. They won a Super Bowl. That's it. But I'm not here to shoot down the people who are in. He's a Hall of Fame man for he tries to help players, white or black, deal with issues of being a man. And we respect that, and we love him for that. Orlando Pace, his first 6 years in the league, he was a road grader. No one got by him. He was the best tackle in football. But then injuries kind of short-termed his career, and basically he wasn't the same player. Marvin Harrison, first ballot should have been. Kenny Stabler should have been in the Hall of Fame many, many years ago. You cannot talk about NFL football, Raiders, without talking about the effect that Kenny Stabler had on the games. And that's what I ask people all the effing time. Do people literally watch the games? For Terrell Davis to be a finalist, it seems like every year the last 4, there's a reason why he was a finalist. He only played 7 years, but 5 of those 7 years he was a dominant beast. He was a Super Bowl MVP. He could have been a 2-time Super Bowl MVP. And it blows my mind. Kurt Warner should be in the Hall of Fame. Now, if you don't want to shine, take Brett Favre's shine, because of Kurt Warner and Brett Favre were in the same camp at Green Bay, who's thinking in terms of that? Nobody. Nobody's thinking of it in that terms. People understand fully the effect of Favre, what Favre did as a pro, so on and so forth. But Kurt Warner took teams that were terrible, came from out of nowhere, and took them to the big game, and won one and lost one. So I ask myself, what are people watching? Why keep them out of the Hall of Fame? And it just makes you think that, you know, this world of media today with social media and Twitter and all these accounts that people have to talk sports and so on and so forth, it just shows you just how stupid and just how uneducated is a better word, or just how egotistical some of these people are. A guy scores 153 touchdowns, and he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. That makes zero sense. Marvin Harrison was the best receiver in the AFC for at least 5-6 years, and for him to have to wait 3 or 4 times to get in is ridiculous. Randy Moss will be on the ballot next year, I think, or the year after. And what are they going to do? Keep him out too? He has 155 touchdowns. Are they going to keep him out? And for people to look you in the face or look in the camera and say, well, we didn't feel he was worthy this time. If a person's a Hall of Famer, they're a Hall of Famer. Well, we only allowed 7 slots a year, so we have to sort of ration it, you know, and it gets more complicated with this person and that person and this person and that person. Nobody cares. Only thing that people care about is that if a person is a Hall of Famer, you put them in. And to snub T.O. is foolish. And he is a legitimate Hall of Famer. Every team he went to, he performed on. Every team. He has a iconic moment with the Packers, against the Packers, where he catches the ball for the, game-winning touchdown with no time on the clock. He has a Super Bowl performance where he has 9 receptions, 121 yards. He has well over 100 touchdowns. He has moments in games where he did things that other people have not done. And for my money, he's probably the second or third best receiver in the history of the game. Randy Moss didn't go over the middle. T.O. did. What a joke.